Joined from London by the Live Aid founder, Bob Geldof. Bob, thanks so much for joining us. When you look at images like we've just looked at there, Bob, I mean, what is your reaction to what's happening right now in Gaza?
The question is what's happened to the Israeli people? How have they allowed themselves to be so debased? How have they become so inured to pain and suffering? How have they become oblivious to their own horrific past? And these images which remind you of their own horrific past. And the only possibility, their government is clearly out of control, and their army probably as well. And so the only possible way to stop this is for the Israeli people, though they are watching heavily censored news and heavily censored social feeds, to equally rise up in disgust as the rest of the world is. And I fear that until they do, there's very little we can do against the alliance between Netanyahu and the Trump government. But I'm not sure that the world can continue to look at those images for much longer without something necessary happening, whether that is collectively the European Union or the rest of the world just park ships outside their waters and regardless of the danger go and take care of these panicked, exhausted, tormented women and their dying children. It is a despicable disgrace. And for the Israeli people to allow this in their name is a despicable disgrace.
But I read a very powerful piece you wrote, I think yesterday, Bob, in the Express about this, and you were appealing to all the very many immensely good Israeli people, asking them to beg their government to change their behaviour. But is there any chance that that will happen, Bob?
It doesn't appear so. I mean, one is never sure exactly how much reality has been filtered through to them. But you also fear that there's a sort of war saturation has seeped in, that they've committed themselves to a past and therefore anything is justifiable. I sincerely hope not. At that point, you literally are dehumanized. And it is so utterly bizarre that we're talking about Israel, given the horror of their own past. It is bewildering to me. And, you know, I was a founding patron of the Aegis Trust for Genocide Studies, which is a branch of the British National Holocaust Museum. And I spent many times with the survivors of the Holocaust. And, you know, brave, strong people, you just simply cannot believe their stories. Were they alive now, they would possibly die of shame. The shame of this, Miriam, the shame for Israel. It's you know, yet another historic burden they may have to carry, you know, but they could stop it. This is unconscionable. They are deliberately killing children by purposefully starving them. And when their panicked mothers try and approach as they dangle food tauntingly in front of their starving bodies, they shoot them. This is a real madness, seems to have seized them. And it literally is beyond our comprehension. Look at your face. Look at the aid workers there. I mean, that woman saying I've been in Gaza. I've been on the West Bank. I've been in Jerusalem, been in Israel. They are an hour away. They're all eating their dinners right now. And they're turning on Netflix. And they're watching their heavily censored news while they prosecute this action, while their government does this purposely. I mean, what are we living in? I mean, I cannot look at those pictures. Obviously, they remind me of 1984, but in completely different circumstances. And, you know, please don't ask me, will we do another Live Aid or what do we do? You know, What do we do except appeal to the Israelis to snap out of it, understand precisely what you're doing? I mean, there are the political gestures. I understand from an hour ago, France was going to recognise the state of Palestine. That's seriously telling. I will urge the British government to do the same. I cannot understand why they haven't so far, but I'm sure it will follow soon. And these are all things, but I'm not sure Netanyahu cares. There's several factors in play with him. Obviously, he wants to save his own skin because he is corrupt to the top of his head. But I think it's beyond that now. I think they're just going for total regional change where they dominate and dictate the course of events. And I think they've arrived at that, but they've arrived at that through a series, through operational terror, which takes no heed of civilian life, or now, finally, it takes no heed of babies and children. And that is where I think we almost say, now you stop.
Do you feel, finally, I just put you, Bob, like, I mean, you spoke about 1984 there, but do you almost feel more helpless today? I think that's what a lot of people have said to me. When you watch on and look at this, and you just can't fathom what you can do about it.
Well, you can imagine, every instinct in me is to grab a truck and drive through those frontiers. Now, I've driven, as I say, I've been into Gaza and via Israel. And the rigmarole you had to go through to get through to finally get there, where it was anyway, impoverished to the end, was something. Right now, there's a cordon of steel, around the whole enclave. And there is a famous experiment where they tried to work out how much rats could tolerate before they went mad. And they'd heat up this plate and put rats on it, and the rats would scurry to a corner where it was cool, and then they'd heat that corner and they'd scurry to the next one. And finally, they found the fourth corner they could build their nests. And then they turned on the heat there. And with nowhere left to go, the rats went mad. And is that what they're trying to do to the people of Gaza after they've killed their children, after they've killed the women? What we're watching, I mean, like every single person watching this, that terrible impotence, we've got to do something. And the something must be a political situation. Ireland has something to say to this because of our past. Our diplomats are very clever and very respected. I've seen them at work in the UN. I think we step up now and we speak very loudly and very clearly about what we as a country feel.
OK, Bob, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us tonight, Bob. Thanks very, very much.